welcome to Poison Rock, and thanks for being with us. Let's talk a little bit about you and your band.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, it's been quite some time since the Breaking the Silence times, but we would like to come to this and also like to ask you some questions regarding the new album coming out in September.
Okay.
So, Breaking the Silence was your debut, and Ada, what do we have to say about that?
I mean, it has musically changed. Speaking, it has changed. Wait, it has changed. Has changed. What is changed musically speaking with the band after the release of the album?
Well, after the release of Breaking the Silence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we were pretty young back then, and most of the songs, when we were working on those songs, trying to just get our foot in the door and get a record deal and get in on the scene, globally. It's not just locally. And so we had just put the band together, and it was only a year's time that we had, we did our demo. It was the Pray for Death demo, and we just basically were giving demos away and selling demos and all that kind of thing. And actually, the record companies were coming to us. So we didn't really shop that. We didn't shop the record as much as we just let it get out there in the world. And then we had Roadrunner and we had Combat Records coming at us. A couple other labels that I wouldn't mention, but so it was kind of nice because it was like, oh, here we go. And so the music there, we were, as much as we knew about, recording at that time, we didn't really know as much as we thought we knew. And we had Ronnie Montrose was the producer for that record, and I don't think he really understood what we were trying to accomplish because he wasn't a metal guy. Oh. And so we did the best we could with everything, and Set Me Free was a kind of a hit for us. We had a video on MTV. It had some really nice airplay with that song. But we knew that we had, in the future, we were going to grow into something really special. And so we had some different, issues with labels and everything and management, to where it took a few years to get to Victims of Deception.
Yeah.
But that was a growth. That was a band that now has, basically had gotten their wings. Where musically we were all growing, and we were growing together as a band. And we were super hungry and super just, anxious to get that record done, because of all the problems and issues that we had that had pushed us back. So we were very proud to get in the studio, and we were going to work with another producer who was unavailable for the recording of the drum tracks for Victims. So I had worked on a project with another band called Laughing Dead, and we worked with this engineer, Rob Beaton, who was amazing in the studio. And we got along with him great. So when we needed somebody to come in and record the drum tracks with us, I thought of Rob. And so Rob came in, and everybody loved him. And so about halfway through the week of recording drum tracks and bass tracks, we all got together and we said, hey, let's get this guy to do the record, and we'll let this other producer go, and we'll produce with Rob the new Heathen album. And he accepted, and awesome. then we made what is now Victims of Deception, and that was a growth for us.
So it all fell together in the end.
Yeah.
When you face those kinds of boundaries like management issues, you have to have a strong vision to get through that period. Yes.
Yes, you do, and you have to have a strong will.
Yes, definitely.
Because it was really tough. It was really tough. You know, and Ada, am I talking too fast?
No. Okay, I understand every single word.
Okay, I saw
Okay.
the look on your face a couple of times, like, man, he's really going.
No, it's fine.
She was
Okay.
It's
stunned.
been a long day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah. See, it's just starting for me. So, but
Okay.
yeah, and so, you want me to continue or?
Well,
Oh, you
we
have another
a couple
question?
more- We have
Yeah,
a couple more questions that will probably go towards the point you were going towards now.
Okay.
So, is there now, generally speaking, not just about the beginning of the band and the music of that time, would you say there is a common theme not only to your work ethic but also to your songs and lyrics? What would you say to people the Heathen songs are generally about?
I would say they're generally about the world we live in, and some things. I would say, like with the evolution of chaos, that was more. I mean, coming across in the writing for that, I tried to be, I'm always trying to improve as a songwriter. So, and I think it's important to write what you know.
Yes.
And so there was a lot of things, going on in the world at that time that have sort of blended into what's going on now. But also I tried to write just personal experiences and personal battles or whatever that I was going through. So like No Stone Unturned was sort of my way of talking about what it took to get to that point to make that record. Looking under every stone and making sure that we were ready to go with this record. And Fade Away is more my personal journey, So, but the common theme I think for everything is just what's going on. We try not to. I mean, the first record I think there was a little bit more fantasy, like Goblin's Blade, and we were just trying to write songs, to get out there, to where the later records there was more thought, and we wanted it to be thought-provoking for the fans.
Okay.
Okay, so you and Liautus are basically the founding members of Heathen. What has changed after the arrival of Cragen? I mean, he has influenced your music style.
Well, he definitely influenced it on the new record because Cragen is a workhorse, and he really is. And him, when he came into the band, he was just such an amazing player. And when we actually auditioned him, I auditioned for his group, Prototype, when Heathen was, Prototype, and Heathen wasn't really back together yet. We had done the Thrash of the Titans, but we thought that was going to be a one-off. Mm-hmm. And Cragen and Vince Levelos, they came to the show, and then I got a phone call, and they wanted me to come in and sing, and I loved their album. Trinity was amazing, and but I went and played with them a couple times, and got the feel of those guys. And then when that didn't pan out, I actually talked myself out of joining the band because I was like, I talked, Vince was the singer guitar player, and I'm like, why are you guys looking for a singer? Your vocals on the record are awesome. And he's like, really? You think so? I'm like, yeah. but I would love the job, And he did. So he was like, oh, maybe I will keep doing this. So I didn't get the gig, and which it actually turned out okay, because he then did get back together. Yes. And then we were working with Terry Lauderdale, and we had done a tour with him. But when we were getting serious about a new record, he was not up for the challenge. So we were looking for another guitar player, and we had auditioned a few different guys, and I was like, I know a guy. I know actually two guys. So I called Vince, and and asked him first because he was the one that I had talked to the most in Prototype. But I knew that Cragen was the guy that I really wanted. And so Vince was like, well, with my family, I can't really make the time. I can't travel like you guys are going to be traveling. So, but maybe I think Cragen would be probably really interested. And so Cragen called, and I just told him, learn 5 songs and tell me when you're ready. And so he came came up from LA and to audition, and it was unbelievable. We were so tight with him in the first go round, and everybody just looked around at each other, and I knew I could read everybody's face, and I just looked at Craig and I'm like, so you want to join the band? So
like you're in, man.
Yeah, but usually it doesn't happen that way. Usually we'll talk about it and we'll give it a minute, a couple days and decide. Yeah. But there was no question. There was no question.
It was like a movie moment.
Yeah, and that's why I like to share that, because it's the truth. And then he contributed a few songs on the Evolution of Chaos, and with Exodus. Lee's in Exodus as well, and then Gary was doing the Slayer thing. They wanted to keep their train rolling, so they pulled Cragen from our camp, which caused us to be on hiatus for a while. But the whole time Cragen was writing this record that's about to come out. Wow. And as we were all doing other things, and so he had a clear vision of what he wanted this record to be, and so now, but I think that he also understands what we do and how we go about things, and having played with us, he's actually been in the band as the second guitar player longer than any other guitar player has ever been in the band. So he's a pretty solid member, but he understands sort of the Heathen way. And so this record is going to basically be his awakening, or what do you want to call it, but like to solidify his his part in this group,
Yes.
what I mean? And it was there was some controversy between us all, because it's like, what's going on? You're writing what you're going to do the whole what? But then when all said and done, it's like, well, let's give it a listen. And it's like, well, you know what? It's amazing, and let's go with it, and we'll give it our flavor. But you're a member, and if you want to write the record, guess what? It takes the stress off of the rest of us right now. And he wrote, and the whole thing was he had a roadmap. It was like a complete roadmap, And even when we were in the studio, he's so organized that he had his like charts on his laptop and all that, and he's like over there checking off things when they're done, and it's incredible, really.
Yes.
So.
What a guy.
Yeah. So. And I'm really looking forward to even the future, like, as we work on new material in the future. So.
Yeah. So, speaking of band members, are you still in touch with Mike and Carl Sacco and Doug Piercy?
Doug Piercy and Carl, yes. And you said,
Mike? Yesterday?
Mike. Oh no, he passed away.
He passed away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he passed away 15 years ago.
Really?
We know that.
Oh my God.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. He's in peace. But yeah,
he's playing with all the rock stars out of the way. Probably they have like probably a huge festival in somewhere.
He was a rock star, and he wasn't like an asshole rock star. He just was, that guy. He could be the grossest guy in the room. Like you hear the stories like, oh, Ozzy and oh, Motley Crue, oh, they They did all, all the gross out stuff.
Yes.
If Yaz was with them, if Yaz was with them, they would be like, "Oh my God." he would blow them out of the freaking water. But also he was very charming and very witty and a very talented musician. And I didn't know that that when we were at his funeral, his wake, they talked about, some of his family talked about it, and I think his brother talked about when he was a kid, they lived in New York. His father was an attorney in New York, and he was a bright kid, and he auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club. Yeah, and he actually got it. He was going to be a Mouseketeer when he was a little kid.
A Mouseketeer.
Yeah, he was going to be a Mouseketeer, but then his dad got a new job at a law firm in San Francisco, and they moved to California.
Yeah.
But I mean that was him, and he learned how to make. He was into science when he was a little kid, and he learned how to make helium.
Oh, okay.
And he made it helium and made these balloons, and he made a balloon with a basket and put his cat.
He was a funny guy.
In the basket, they had to shoot the balloon to get it down.
Oh my God!
As it was going up.
Okay, yeah.
He was the guy that you had fun with.
Oh my God, I wanted to kill him half the time, but I miss him, and when I think about him, that's why I love to talk about him, because he was such an original, and he was really funny, and I miss him every day.
Yeah.
The best people always go away.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the other guys, like I say, Carl.
Yes.
Carl Taco, I talk to him all the time. We're really tight. We're really close friends. We've always been really, really tight. Doug and I, we had some issues, and we're better now. And he's back in the Bay Area, but now I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
But I just did a show before, just before we came here in March with Amble Chorus, his original band. And he played a song with us. Thane put the band together. The singer Aaron Zimpel passed away last year, so they wanted to do a benefit, kind of remembrance show. And so Thane Rasmussen asked me to sing the Amble Chorus stuff. So I got to do a show with Doug again.
Very cool.
Beautiful being in touch. And your second album was Victim of Deception, and this album also changed the members' foundation. I mean, what is the difference between Breaking the Silence and Victim of Deception?
What is the difference musically, or?
Yeah, basically yes.
Well, it's
evolving.
That's exactly. It was definitely an evolutionary process for us, and growing as a band. That's what I was talking about earlier. And then with the addition of Darren Mentor on the drums, who brought just a fire behind the kit. And then we didn't have a bass player because Yaz had left the band.
Oh.
And so Mark Biederman from Blind Illusion, who I used to play in a band with, was originally a bass player and then became a guitar player when we were teenagers. But he was a great bass player. So I talked the guys into having him come in and play bass, so that the guitar players didn't have to worry about laying down bass tracks, so we could actually have a real bass presence on the record, which Lee's production idea was more in Justice for All, and you don't really hear the bass all that much anyway.
Yeah.
But that album was definitely a heavier approach for Heathen. But I think that's where we were going, and I had this argument recently when the new single came out with a friend of mine about just how every record that we've done, I mean, we don't have a lot of records, and now we're ready to come out with a fourth, full-length LP, but they're all quite different. And so, I think it has to do with time, the time that's elated or not elated, advanced or whatever, that has caused that. But we just write what happens with us. We don't try to go, oh, let's make this sound like Breaking the Silence or anything like that. It's just like we're trying to write the best songs we can.
Okay, so talking about the different albums, let's talk about Evolution of Chaos for a moment. So it was quite the acclaimed comeback in 2010. Was there something, a thought or a feeling that made you want to return to the music scene, or how did it come about? Was there some kind of pivotal moment where you said, this is it, I want to get back into the scene, or how did it just happen with that album?
Well, the band, when the band sort of disbanded, we didn't really break up, but Lee, after we got back from Europe on the Sepultura tour, grunge was really on fire.
Yes.
And metal was really taking a back seat.
Yes.
And then he was offered a gig with Die Krupps, which is a German industrial band, and
yes.
he was gonna do a tour with them. And when he went there, they loved him, and they asked him to join. So
okay, cool.
he was traveling and in Germany for a good 5-6 years doing that, and so no Heathen. And then when he finally got tired of it, he came back. And I was really interested in trying to get things going, but it just wasn't materializing. Go ahead. It wasn't materializing. And then the Thrash of the Titans concert came about, where Chuck Billy was battling testicular cancer. And we got the phone call from Walter Morgan to asking us if we would reform and do this benefit show. And Lee and I were like, well, we're only going to do it if Yaz does it. So we had to find Yaz, and we found him. And we did the show, and it was incredible. Like, all the bands that had reformed for that show, and that was like a little bit of a pivotal moment, but it wasn't. We really didn't think that it was going to be grow into anything else. And then we got an invitation after to play Wacken the next summer, and so we had something to look forward to. And when it got close to time, we got in the studio, started working on all the songs to get ready to play the festival. And then we went with Exodus. We flew with Exodus as well, and then we played the show there, and it was crazy, a ton of people. And that's when we were like, metal's back.
Yes.
And it looks like there's a place for us here.
Absolutely.
So that's when we started to, work on new material. It just took a while. We did a demo that we had in about 2005, and we did a shoestring tour in Europe, and we jumped on some dates with Nuclear Assault. Mm-hmm. Which they were so nice to let us jump on, and then, like I said, after that it was like, okay, it was a long process actually, but part of it was when we got back from the European tour in 2005. Lee hadn't told us at that time before the tour, but he already knew, and when we got back, that Exodus had asked him to join that Exodus, so that slowed our roll down big time. So, but we were still working at it. But we pushed our way into the studio. We had to push Lee into the studio to make it happen. He was like, "We're not ready. We're not ready." I'm like, "Oh, we're getting ready. If we have to do it in the studio, we're gonna get ready."
Yes.
So we forced the issue, and we made it happen. But I really do think that Wacken was the most pivotal event that that let us know that it's going to be all right. We're going to be able to do this again.
Yes.
And it's still going, right? Metal's
absolutely.
It's outrageous.
Yes.
Of course. And what makes Heathen different from all the other bands in the Bay Area thrash metal scene?
What makes us different?
Yeah.
Well, I think that, in the Bay Area, everybody has a different flavor. So I think it's just the individuals. Everybody that's in the group, we make up just a different dynamic. And I think that we're not afraid to bend the rules and do musical things and melodic things that some bands just don't do. Not that they can't do. It's just their choice. I know that Exodus has done all these records. They've never done a ballad. That's their deal. We are a group of guys that can pretty much musically do anything.
That's always good.
Yeah. So I just think that musically we're better than No, I'm just kidding. No, but like I said, it's just we're not afraid to take it in different directions.
Yes.
And
yes, there are certain bands where you just don't expect a ballad or something like that.
Yes.
But in your case, it's all open for anything all the time, basically.
Yeah, I'd like to we're not going to do any country hits or anything like that.
Yes, apart from country.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's talk about The Blight, your new single. We have actually, if you listen to it for the first time, you might say that you noticed a quite, if we may say so, old school power metal chorus that is really catchy as well. Would you agree with that? And was this just intentionally planned or just a spontaneous thing while writing and recording?
Well, I think we had talked about the new album, years ago, and talking about trying to take, because we've in the past we've had, especially the last two records, we have a lot of epic songs that are long songs.
Yes.
And we wanted to tighten those things up. We wanted to bring it together, take what we do, but condense it a little bit more, and focus, on some hooks, because we want to be successful. We want things to go. We want to be relevant.
Yes.
And so, like I said, we try to take all the elements musically that we can. And you'll see in this record, there's a lot of different flavors. But it's a heavy record, and there's some epic stuff on this record. As you will, Empire the Blind is going to be the next lyric video that's coming
Yes.
out in a week or two.
Yes.
I think you guys are going to be blown away.
Okay.
Me as a fan,
Right.
me as a fan of the music, I feel so lucky that I get to sing for this amazing band, and the music that they're writing, I'm blown away all the time.
That's the best combination, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're a fan of your own music.
Yeah, but it's also being a fan of what my guys do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Apart from me being that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think with The Blight, I think where Kraken was going with it was wanting to write something that was a heavy, ripper, but give it a strong hook, And then when we went in the studio, I started layering vocals on that, and especially in the chorus. So it comes off very big. I think we had to condense it a little bit because it was so huge in that chorus, Yeah, it's oh my God. But that was, working with Zeus was incredible.
Yeah.
And so we just were able to do all these things, and we want to make it, every record we do, we want to make it the best record we possibly can. So we want to keep on raising the bar.
Of course. And Empire of the Blind is inspired by the, nowadays events, what is happening right now, or there is something more about this title that you want to communicate to people?
Well, it's definitely what's going on in the world that we had no idea and I know Cragen had no idea that we were going to have a pandemic.
Oh my God.
You know, and all of that. But the truth is that, you know, globally and politically, there's been a virus that has plagued the world for a long time, and it can go to all the way down to the smallest, you know, how do I want to say it? Smallest task or whatever, you know, like just being involved to recycle, to care about the environment. You know, we have, you know, so much damage upon this planet.
The climate changing.
Yeah, climate's changing, but we're pushing it. We are pushing it. Humans are so unkind to, you know, to the insects, to the animals, to the
even to each other.
To the, well, I was going to say, to the land, to the sea, to the sky, to each other.
Absolutely.
Right,
And so when you push and push and push and push, guess what? Nature's going to push back.
Definitely.
Nature will take what is there.
Yes.
Planet will survive. Yes.
yeah. I mean, we'll, you know, I mean, hopefully we get through this, you know, but we don't really know. We don't know.
Don't know yet.
Yes. So, but the blight, and I know me and Cragen talked about it as far as deeper, you know, it's even just individually, you know, how we treat each other and how we communicate to each other, or the lack of communication, or what we feel or think is important, you know, like with our looks or whatever, you know what I mean? We need to get back to the depth of our souls.
Yes.
Before it's too late, you know.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay. What do you think about, so moving on to today's world, what do you think about today's thrash metal scene? Are there some bands that inspire you today? Maybe some even more than they used to?
Well, I think it's all inspiring for me. To see the new kids coming out, that are influenced more from the old school metal, and coming across in that way, and understanding what we were trying to do back then, and taking it to wherever they want to go with it, but just the vibrance of the scene and the movement of heavy metal, not just thrash metal, but all of it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's such an amazing family, and you guys are a part of that too. And we appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate doing this. I know that you guys are quite young, and but I mean, it's amazing that we're doing this interview, and that you guys are interested in heavy metal.
Absolutely.
You know, and
it
what
is the roots of everything, basically.
It continues to be relevant.
Well, and that's, you know, very exciting for us, and we want to continue to be relevant, but we also want to know that it's going to be in good hands when we're not here anymore.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I plan on being here for a while.
Yes, not leaving now.
No, but you know, it's really cool to hear some of the new bands that are coming out, and also the bands that we grew up with, that are still making music that's amazing. The New Testament record is incredible. Love it.
Yeah.
New Destruction, the new Sepultura. Oh my God.
Yes.
Still there.
I mean,
the new Sepultura, they are amazing. Yeah.
They are just amazing all the way through. As people, you know, we did the what was the name of the tour? I don't even remember the name of the tour now, but it was with Exodus and Sepultura a few years back, and that was actually our 20-year anniversary tour with Sepultura, because we had toured with them in '91, and here we were. I guess it was 2011 or whatever. You know?
It wasn't planned; it just fit.
It just fit. Yeah. The members were a little different, you know. No Max and no Igor anymore, but still great guys, and they're still making great music, you know.
Great show.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes. And speaking about coming back to the new album, what is the difference between from the new album to Evolution of Chaos? Which is the difference between them?
Well, I just think it's a growth again. Mm-hmm. It's a new evolutionary process, with the new record and what we're trying to achieve now. And with the music and the songs, lyrically or whatever, just the relevance of where we are as humans, And I think, and like I said, with this new record, even though Cragen wrote all of it, the approach, we definitely were all on board and had discussed the approach of the record together as a band.
Yeah.
And so there's, like I said, there's I would say like a condensing of things.
Yes.
To get to the point quicker.
Yes. You take the entire picture of what you have done and just try to get straight to the point with this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think as the songs drop,
yes.
we have Empire, and we have another song, another video type thing coming out in August, and then the record will drop in September. So.
Right.
That should be exciting.
That's right.
Believe me, it was supposed to, if it wasn't for the virus thing, it was supposed to come out in June.
Oh, okay.
We would have done 5 weeks in Europe, starting in April, at the end of April, and then we would have started the second leg on June 19th. And like right now, we'd be this is Monday, we would be 2 weeks or so into the second leg of the tour.
Wow. So you have to conclude the tour, ending the tour.
Well, now that's all gone. So we have to wait for next year, and we are putting things together for next year. And like the festivals that we had, most of those, everything right now is they want us next year. So hopefully hopefully things will clear up. But it's
yes.
But yeah, I mean it's crazy town.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything. But let's talk about the future. I mean, we can't say anything about the future of concert, but what are your future plans for the band as it is now?
Well, the future, I mean, we're just planning on, like I said, the record's coming out in September. And the lyric type videos that we did the one, and we actually had one for Control by Chaos, that when we did the re-release for Control in January. Those are actually inexpensive to make. And so we want to try, even after the record comes out, to drop, each month some type of video that people can look at.
Yes.
Not like a typical music video, but like something that's imagery. There's imagery there with the music.
Yes.
And just to keep the buzz going, and then hopefully things will open up and we'll be able to hit the road.
Yes.
I mean, we want to project that thought and that that we can play live, because that's what we do, and
yes.
I think that's what we love the most. So that's what we're planning on.
Okay, so probably we will see maybe next year in some part of Europe. Who knows?
All kinds of parts.
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, and just hopefully that hopefully we can get back to normal.
We have in mind that we are kind of planning, is a rumor right now, a tour with Leather Leone. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah.
In 2021, maybe, who knows? Maybe we will play together, organize the gigs together.
Okay. Well, it's funny. Back when Heathen, when we had Breaking the Silence, our old manager, he used to manage another band called Northrop, and their singer, I don't remember his last name, but his name was Johnny, and he was an amazing singer, and he grew up in the same, I guess, in Detroit or wherever Leather's from, but he knows her personally. And
she's an amazing woman.
Yeah, and we saw her. She she was in San Francisco. We had a gig and we were in San Francisco, and he saw her. He's like, "Oh, Leather, hey!" And so I got to meet her. I'm sure she wouldn't remember who I am, but
Yeah.
she knows him. She was like, "Johnny, oh my God!"
Yeah, she's a strength of nature.
We have to ask her about that.
Yes,
Yeah,
we'll
just
tell her too.
Yeah, just ask her if you remember Johnny from Northrop, from the band,
Northrop.
and then tell her that I was friends with him. I haven't seen him in a long time though.
We are basically arrive to the end. So before leaving a message or for Heathen fans, we would like to thank the Domenico Costa that he's another guy from Poison Rock that made all these questions for us, because
What's
he's
his
a
name?
really Domenico.
Oh, Domenico. Okay.
He's a really huge fan of you, and we have to thank him for all of this. And also we would like you to say and especially hello to him and guys from, maybe you know them. His name is Gustavo Rojas. Gustavo Rojas is
Gustavo.
yeah, exactly.
Gustavo Rojas. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know that name. Yeah.
he's a huge fan of you. So if you could say and special hello to them, and then a message for Heathen fans, what you want to say to Heathen fans.
Okay, I can remember all of that. So I just want to thank Domenico for everything, for the nice questions. That was really fun. And for Gustavo, hey,
You will be really happy.
Get ready. And for all the Heathen fans out there, we are coming. We've got to get this cleared up. Stay safe and well, and we'll be coming soon. I can't wait for you guys to all hear the new record. I think you're going to be happy, real happy.
There you have it, Heathen fans. So that's all we got for now, David. We would like to say a huge thank you for spending so much time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. And we would like just to send a huge greeting to you from all of us at Poison Rock right now.
Poison
Thank
Rock.
you so much. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Ciao.
Kneel down, you sinners, to streetwise religion. Creed's been crowned in your kid.